The rain lashed against the sterile office building like 1,000 accusing fingers. But inside, a different storm was brewing. The silent judgment of a dozen employees directed at one man. His name was Elias, the office ghost. He arrived at 9, never joined coffee breaks, and left at 5 without a word. The whispers were constant. Some called him arrogant, others labeled him lazy. Marcus, the charismatic manager, often made Elias the target of his jokes. "Look at him," Marcus would sneer, gesturing toward Elias eating alone from a simple brown bag. "He thinks he's an enigma, hiding in an ivory tower while we do the real work." In this office, speed was valued over depth, and worth was measured by how much you talked, not how much you did. Elias never defended himself, which only fueled the fire. His silence was misjudged as coldness, and his thriftiness as greed. One Tuesday, the tension broke. A major client's file went missing. Marcus, eager for a scapegoat, pointed at Elias. "He's always near the archives," Marcus declared. "He's secretive because he's hiding something. Maybe he's selling our leads." Elias stood there, pale and tired. He didn't get angry. He just looked at Marcus with a gaze that was profoundly sad. Marcus took it as guilt. "Nothing to say. Think before you speak next time, Elias." Influenced by the noise, the boss suspended Elias for a week. Elias gathered his things and walked into the rain. His shoulders hunched under a weight no one else could see. The following Saturday, Marcus was driving through a dilapidated part of the city to visit a medical store for his knee surgery. In a narrow street of crumbling houses, he saw a familiar figure, Elias. But this Elias looked broken. He was carrying a heavy crate of groceries into a sagging house. Curiosity drove Marcus to follow. He peered through a cracked window and froze. Inside, an elderly woman lay hooked to an oxygen tank, and a young girl sat in a wheelchair. Elias was on his knees, tenderly feeding the woman with a spoon. Marcus watched as Elias moved to the girl, helping her through exhausting physical therapy exercises. There was no ivory tower, only the sound of Elias humming a soft tune to keep the child's spirits up. A neighbor walked by and saw Marcus. "You a friend of his?" the man asked. Marcus stuttered. "I work with him." The neighbor nodded solemnly. "He's a saint, lost his brother 3 years ago. Now, he works this office job by day and cleans hospitals at night, just to pay for his mother's meds and his niece's surgeries. He doesn't spend a penny on himself. I've seen him walk miles in the snow to save bus fare for their milk. He's too exhausted to breathe, let alone gossip." The words hit Marcus like a physical blow. "Think before you speak," he had told Elias. Now, those words tasted like ash. Every joke was a lie, born of ignorance. He had misjudged a hero as a villain because the hero was too busy carrying a cross to explain his limp. The brown bag wasn't greed, it was survival. The silence wasn't pride. It was the dignity of a man who refused to let his tragedy become office gossip. Marcus felt a shame so intense, he had to lean against the brick wall for support. He had used his voice to tear down a man who was using his life to build up others. On Monday, the file was found. Misfiled by Marcus's own assistant. When Elias arrived to claim his final paycheck, intending to resign, the room was silent, but the silence was different. Marcus stood up. He didn't sneer. He walked to the center of the room, lowered his head, and spoke clearly. "Elias, I need to apologize, not just for the file, but for my heart. I judged you without knowing you. I saw your silence and called it pride, when it was a strength I could never possess. We talk about success, but the greatest success is being a decent human being. I failed at that. You are the best of us. Elias looked at him and gave a small, weary smile. He didn't ask for pity. He simply said, "Everyone is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Just remember that next time." Elias stayed, but the office changed forever. The $5 secret wasn't about money. It was about empathy. People stopped assuming the worst and started asking how to help. Marcus became Elias's biggest advocate, ensuring he had the flexibility his family needed. The lesson was etched into everyone's mind. Misjudging people is easy, but it is also cowardly. It takes no intelligence to criticize, but it takes immense character to understand. Before you label or condemn, remember that your words can either be a bridge or a wall. Most people are carrying weights that would break your back. Don't make their load heavier. Think before you speak, for a word released can either heal a soul or kill a spirit. Elias taught them that the loudest person is rarely the strongest, and the quietest might just be the one saving the world, one silent sacrifice at a time.